Andrew McCart, iFLTV, delighted to be joined by Spencer Fearon. It must be the early morning in Jamaica because what a beautiful setting you have behind you.
It is very, very early morning. I mean, it's like 6 o'clock in the morning, so it's just literally. So the sun's not up or anything. It's really weird. Like in Jamaica, when it rains, the rainwater's actually hot.
Bath water.
Yeah, it is. It's like you can take a soap, some shower gel or some soap and scrub up around the back. You know what I mean? Seriously, that's what we used to do when we was kids. When we was kids, that's what we used to do. So I'm not gonna hide like how things have been. It's been one of them ones, mate. It has been.
Good. Good. Well, how's it been out of Jamaica? I know you're Jamaican roots, so what's it like being back to your ancestral home, so to speak?
Um, I actually feel kind of embarrassed because it's been 20 years since I've been to Jamaica, and like I lived there for a few years as a kid. Went to school here, and you know what I mean, not the posh parts or all the rest of it. I'm keeping this thing totally 100. Where my dad grew up, or to see like where my dad grew up wasn't silver spoon, wasn't you know. So to see like my dad leaving Jamaica in like 1957 to come to the UK to make life. It's amazing, and it was a very, very humbling experience because that's where my dad's buried. So it's been 20 years since he passed away, and so I went out to Jamaica to, you know, to visit his grave, clean it up a bit, and all the rest of it. So, well, for those kind of things, it was very emotional. I burst out in tears, man. I didn't know. There's a lot of people are dealing with a lot of trauma, and the trauma that they've got, like you need a vessel to lay it off. And you know what I mean? And you know, like the old saying, like hurt people. So, you know what I mean? You have to do things to heal. And in the word health, there is healing in that. You know what I mean? If you think about it. So you gotta heal. And yeah, we grow as human beings. So it was amazing to go there. So I gotta say a massive big up to my mate Marlo Morris of the Legacy Foundation, who kind of forced me to say, look, Spence, you'll go everywhere. And you know, I do a lot of charity work.
Mhm.
And he said, you go all around the world and that, but you ain't going back to what is seemingly your spiritual home of being Jamaica. I was avoiding it for 20 years because when I buried my dad, I was very close to my dad. Things weren't really good with me and my mum at the time, or my sister. Um, and my mum's gone now, and that hurts. But to just have that release, and I'll say to everybody, um, yeah, never ever, never, and I haven't, but never ever forget your roots. And my roots are deeply sold in Jamaica via Africa, but don't get twisted. Yeah, I love Britain, but I wish the weather in Britain could be like here.
Me too, Spencer. I'm from Scotland. You know the weather's 10 times worse in Scotland than it is in England. But listen, God bless you, brother, man. I hope that you found some sort of peace in visiting your father's grave there because it seems like it's been very emotional and spiritual for you out there. And I'm happy for you because this is a side of you that I've not seen before. Normally, I see the boxing Spencer. I don't ever see the knowledgeable, the spiritual or the emotional side of you. So it's quite heartwarming to see that side of you, Spence, to be honest with you.
Like, do you know what? Thanks, Andrew. But what I'm trying to say is like people don't really know people. We don't.
Mhm.
We see segments and pockets of them, but you don't know what they're doing. And it's like to certain people you could be a saint, to other people you could be a grotesque sinner, right? And it's about getting that balance, right? You can't please everybody. But the major thing is to please yourself. So anybody listening to this right now, you be going boxing, oh, we'll drag things out of about history and stuff, but on the rules, it's like you got to connect with your ancestral birthplace, right? You
Mhm.
have to connect with that. You know what I mean? And there is a oneness in nature because nature is God's signature. So all you got to do is look around and see nature. And sometimes we need to get out of the environments of the hustle and bustle. You think about it. In the UK, 99% of people are living life to pay bills. That is it. Do you know what I mean? We were not created to wake up in the morning and slave for someone else. Do you know what I mean? We wasn't, we
Mm-hmm.
weren't, we weren't. I'm telling you this now, right? So the freedom comes in learning. So I enjoy learning stuff. But also the freedom is to connect with other people because as a Muslim, we believe that God only made us different for us to know one another, right? But we got to use these times to get to know people and to always check in on people, checking on your neighbors. It's very important. I mean, just checking on people. Because I'm sorry to drag this into something else, right? But seriously, Andrew, people turn to other people and go to someone, you okay? You all right?
Mm-hmm.
But we don't really want to care to know if they're okay.
Mm.
We don't. We just say it because of a passing, fleeting comment, right? Or hope everything's all right. Oh, God bless you. But do we really mean that? So when we speak, we should say things with chest and with passion. And when you go do that, you know what I mean? Not just the world will be a better place, but you can just address things. And I'm
Mm.
human. I'm fallible. I'm open to mistakes. You know,
We're
my
all,
mouth can
we're
go
all,
off for
listen,
certain things. Right.
Spence, as
But
you
God
know,
spread love.
yeah. Listen, as you know, I'm a Christian. I was in church this morning, so before I went on the thing, so I resonate with everything you say in terms of we were born sinners. We were. So we're not every human. No, there's not one perfect human being on this planet. But if we can try to be and be like you're saying, see if everyone's okay. Speak to your neighbors. Then it's a start.
It is a start.
If everyone makes a start, then hopefully we can get somewhere.
Yeah. Eh, trust me. Amen, amen, amun, whatever, but I'm on it.
Hmm. Well, listen, Spencer, honestly, I'm so thankful for you doing this because I know it's, yeah, again, you're up at 6 o'clock in the morning. I don't know what your usual wake up call is back in the UK, but in Jamaica, you're up bright and early with the sun. Looks like it's trying to break out through them clouds. And the reason
You
why I
know why
want
I'm up early? Fajr prayer, mate. The first morning prayer. So I'm up at that time anyway. But go
good
on, let's
stuff.
continue.
Let's get to go. Listen, I wanted to talk. The reason why I wanted to talk to you, and thanks for sharing all that, Spence, obviously. And the reason why I
Yeah,
want to talk to you is Canelo Crawford. I'm just going to jump straight into the deep end. Let's just go go dive right into the deep end. Don't dip our toes in. Canelo Crawford penciled in Las Vegas. The is it what's it called again? I forgot the name of it. A Giant Stadium. What's it called again? The one in Vegas. Oh, I'm an idiot. It's the Raiders Stadium with 65,000 penciled in. Yeah, your thoughts on that whole fight?
firstly, we have to say we are owed, we are indebted to Turkey Al Sheikh, His Excellency, right? We
Mm-hmm.
are, right? How he has pivoted boxing to being where it's meant to be. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You got seriously, you got to be massively thankful to that man, right? And all of the promoters and fighters who are involved in it, who are earning financially, owe a massive debt of gratitude to Spencer Brown.
Mm.
Let's call it as it is, right? Seriously, the Frank Warrens, the Eddie Hearns, the Ben Shaloms, you go through the whole list of them, right? All of those promoters owe a massive debt of gratitude to Spencer Brown. And that's the rules because we're seeing fights and things happen that usually we'd hear these things being spoken about. Could you imagine if Turkey Al Sheikh, His Excellency, was around um like 90, 93, 94 times? We'd have got Lennox Lewis
Mm.
versus Riddick Bowe, right? Could you imagine if Turkey Al Sheikh was around just for British boxing, right? If Turkey Al Sheikh was around, right, we would have got Ricky Hatton versus Junior Witter. Oh, yes, we would have.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? We'd have got the big middleweight tournament with Matthew Macklin, um, Darren Barker. We'd have got that.
Roch
You
Calzaghe
know
as
what I
well.
mean? Right. We'd have got if Turkey Al Sheikh was around back, we'd have got Joe Kawasaki, Carl Froch. We'd have got that. So I'm a boxing person, right? And God has blessed me with a nuts memory, right? So these are the things where we got to be so grateful, man. I'm gonna be real, going
Mm.
so grateful because we're seeing things that we didn't. Right. I remember 5 years ago when Terence Crawford was just jumped into welterweight division, right? And we were thinking, all right, then. And I was warning everyone, don't let him grow as a welterweight because he's gonna be a nightmare, right? And he's done that. And at that same time, Errol Spence Jr. was calling out Canelo because Canelo was the prize. Oh, I want the Canelo fight. Now we've seen that Terence Crawford has earned exponentially, who is a really good fighter, really, really good fighter. He's a great fighter, right? He's a superb fighter. And I think Canelo's an all-time great. You're getting two great guys fighting each other. And we're going to say, oh, but the weight and da-da-da and all the rest of it. And we're also looking at the magnum of performance of Terence Crawford thinking, well, he ain't going to be big enough to deal with Canelo. And Lloyd Hannigan, the former undisputed world welterweight champion, always say to me, it's never whether you're big enough, it's whether you're good enough. And Terence Crawford is good enough to compete. I don't think, like, we spoke to him a few weeks ago on our podcast, and it was just about the thing about the Canelo fight. And he was saying, yeah, I'm going to win the fight. And I remember before Turki Al-Sheikh even spoke to Terence Crawford, Terence came on our show and I said, have you spoken to Turki Al-Sheikh? And this is about a year and a bit ago, maybe 2 years ago. Right? No, a year and a bit. Yeah, a year and a bit ago. And that was all happening, man. And you got to be great. Seriously, it's not an easy fight for Terence Crawford. I'm not going to lie to you and say it's not an easy fight for him. But equally, it's not an easy fight for Canelo, right? It's not.
You know what? I agree because Canelo's used to maybe being up at that weight, and the fighters that he's fighting up there, albeit maybe not Bivol, they've not got the fastest of feet, and they're not in and out like a Crawford. He's got good feet, he's got hand speed, but can he put a dent in Canelo, which is going to stop him from that marching forward? And you know, I mean, you know yourself, Spencer, for 12 rounds, it's going to be hard to stay away for Canelo for 12 whole rounds.
You know what? Canelo is going to be a massive favorite going into this fight. Right? A massive favorite going into this fight. And Terence Crawford doesn't need to dare to be great because he's already great. He could retire tomorrow. He's going to go down in the Hall of Fame, easy. He's going to go down in the analogs of history, right? But we cannot underestimate that. Forget about whatever weight he is. Canelo is an assassin. Want people to realize this, you know? He's an assassin, right? He's very calculated. He's very poised. He's hurtful when he puts his shots in. And certain times, like, especially now, as he's getting older, like, he's readjusted his style where he doesn't throw as many punches now, right? But seriously, do not write off Terence Crawford in this fight, right? Don't write him off, don't at all, because he's clever, he's very athletic, and he can hit hard, right? But Andy walks around. He's a very, very strong human being. You ever be around it? You know when you can tell someone's really strong, like with Terence Crawford, just their aura. You're around them and you say, like, I don't want to mess with this guy, you know, right? You wouldn't. You wouldn't want to mess with this guy. He's a strong guy. But when you look at the things that Canelo has done, Canelo has set up people. But the thing is, the traps and the tricks that Canelo has done with previous fighters, right? I don't believe that he'll be able to get away with that against Terence Crawford. But you would be expecting Canelo to win this fight. But then you have to ask yourself, for boxing's sake, who would you want to win? And let's be real. Deep down inside, for boxing's sake, you'd want Terence Crawford to win the fight simply because he's taken that challenge, right? He's taken that challenge and now the fight's on. And you know I'm getting my ticket to go to that fight because that's going to be a hell of a fight. But when you look at Canelo and the strength of Canelo, like when he hits guys down to the body, right? Especially in the Charlo fight, right? He hit Charlo. Charlo's a big unit as well, right? He hit Charlo to the body. And also Charlo's been campaigning at at super welterweight for a long time and middleweight a long time, right? He hit Charlo to the body. I think it's like round 4. You know, he does that. He goes up and he wings it downstairs, and he hit him to the body. And he hits you downstairs, not to think, oh, that's going to stop you, but right, I'm just going to check you downstairs now, knowing that 6 rounds later, when we hit to round 10, you're really going to feel it.
Money in the bank.
Yeah, and that's what he does. He does. He's putting it in, and it's like, and he's collecting money in the bank, but he collects the interest on it because he peppers you. This is the danger of anybody going in against Canelo, because he sets up things. He sets up things horribly. But you know what? It really could be the right time, right place for Terence Crawford, right? Because let's be real, Canelo is slowing up, right? We saw him slowing up in the John Ryder fight, and John Ryder, through his own admission, said, "Yeah, he is slowing up because I believe that." And this is why I give Terence Crawford a fantastic chance in this fight, right? But the overwhelming favorite for this fight is actually going to be Canelo. And anybody turn around saying that, it's a mismatch, is not a mismatch.
I don't.
Right? It's not. Even if, God forbid, Terence Crawford was to get knocked out in the first round, still not a mismatch. The reason being is because it's that resolve of skill that you're bringing to the fight. But the only problem that I could see in there, because Terence Crawford is a guy who likes to get involved, right? He does. He likes to get involved. And at the time when he likes to get involved, he does get hit. And if you're getting hit by somebody who's a natural 168-pound fighter, who's a great 168-pound fighter, then, you know, but I look at the Caleb Plant fight with Canelo, and I see holes. Mainly because Caleb Plant's a good fighter, but Caleb Plant's not in a class level of a Terence Crawford. Caleb Plant's fantastic, but he's not. No. So yeah, I'm looking to see a fantastic fight. I'm so looking forward to it.
I was going to say that as well, because Crawford's fought once a year since 2020, so I think ring rust for Crawford doesn't matter. But he is 37. He will be 38. Did we see a sign of maybe age in the Madrimov fight? Maybe him slowing down as well? No?
No. Give Magnumov all the credit. Magnumov, do you not realize how good a fighter Magnumov is? When they said that they're announcing that fight, I said, ooh, like, Terence Crawford ain't really using the blueprint of what Floyd said. Look, we're not gonna get no little young killers right now. You know what I mean? I'm at the tail end of my career. So this is the perfect fight for him. No, Magnumov is a fantastic fighter. Fantastic fighter. Very well-schooled fighter. All of these guys, Eastern European guys, and these kind of guys, these guys from Afghanistan, Kazakhstan, and anything that's got Stan at the end of it, you're in trouble, right? So, no. I didn't see him slowing up. What I saw, I think he was trying to test himself. I remember, Magnumov is a big unit, you know? Right? He's thinking like, I'm going to touch him to the body a couple times. I'm going to touch him to the head. I'm going to see what's going on. But he's very, very well-schooled and very accomplished fighter. So, no, I'm not taking that as, oh, well, did I see slowing up? No. There's as far as I'm concerned, there's no slowing up inside Terence Crawford, simply because a year prior to that, we saw what he did versus Errol Spence. And Errol Spence ain't no joke.
The thing, see, now he's 38, like I said, if Crawford loses against Canelo, we know he's completed boxing. He's two-weight undisputed champion, completed boxing. He will win an absolute astronomical amount of money against Canelo. If he loses, does he stay in boxing? Does he go down to 154 again and become a world champion, or unify that division, or does he retire? What do you think he does? Win, lose, or
in
draw?
the late 70s, yeah. One of the greatest welterweight champions of all time, in Jose Napoles, right? Moves up in weight and fights Carlos Monzon, right? He loses to Carlos Monzon, no shame in that, because it was like him jumping up nearly a stone, because he was a welterweight champ, and he loses. Was there any shame in that? There was no shame. But then he carried on, and then John H. Tracy stops him, right? Britain's own John H. Tracy, to win the WBC crown. So when you look at things like that, you're saying to yourself, if you lose, it depends how you lose, right? Jose Napoles didn't embarrass himself against Carlos Monzon, but Carlos Monzon was really tall and gangly. As far as I'm concerned, Carlos Monzon, top 3 greatest middleweights of all time. So we see these things happen, and then guys go back to their natural weight they fight at, and then things don't, you know. So it would depend. I'm not thinking like Terence Crawford's going to lose, but if he was to lose, it'd be the manner of the loss, right? But I'm trying to say to you, like, we all know that Canelo has dog in him, real dog, and Terence Crawford's got Doberman picture mixed with Rottweiler inside of him. So this is why it's a great fight. I don't believe like if Terence Crawford was to come a cropper and come second best in there, that he'd walk away from boxing, right? And a lot of people are thinking, well, this is a money grab because they must be getting paid some ridiculous money. Oh, it's a money grab by Terence Crawford. It's not a money grab by Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford's turned up to win the fight. I know. Anybody, you've been around Terence Crawford, you can tell by his aura. Right. I speak regularly to him. This guy's the real deal, man. He's the real deal. And we need to appreciate this time of boxing, which is fantastic. We've got to appreciate this time of boxing because done are the days where we're all arguing, well, this guy ain't going to fight this guy and da-da-da. It's like, nah, well, you should fight him. You should fight him. Yeah, let's make it happen. Simple as that. And now it's all happening. So...
Well, I'm excited for it. Like I said, I agree with you. I think when you look at the landscape of boxing right now, when you look at the 154 division, nobody down there excites me for Crawford. When you look at the 168-pound division, with Benavidez being up at 175 now, no real fight excites me. So Canelo and Crawford, when you mention them two together, albeit one's a light middleweight, one's a super, that excites me. And I agree with everything you said, that it's a fantastic fight, and don't write Crawford off.
Listen to me, yeah? I want to go Crawford for the upset. Right? And I'm trying to take emotion out of it. But then when you sit down, you study Canelo.
Definitely.
Just sit down. Because sometimes we take Canelo for granted. Because he's been around for so long as well. And then, like, certain times, then he'll have, I believe, lackluster performances. Right? And we're not forgetting that, well, Bivol beat him. Right? Bivol had the perfect style for him. And Bivol's tough. He's tall. He's rangy. He's got great amateur pedigree. Right? And then we're going to say, well, you know what? That's not his weight because he ain't a 175 fighter and they get away with it. Yeah? He looked very much a 175 fighter when he knocked out Kovalev. Right? So I don't want to hear that. I just think like at this time here, I think it is amazing that we're getting this fight. Right? And I'm telling everybody now, please do not write off Terence Crawford. Don't write him off, right? Because I'm telling you, I respect Dave Coolwell a lot. I've known Dave Coolwell for 20 odd years. I said, and this is years ago. I said to him, who's the best fighter that you've seen live? Now remember, this is a guy that's been around live, right? He's been around Nassim Hamed because he came at the Winkelbank gym, right? He's been around really good fighters, right? And he said, the best fighter that I have seen live is Terence Crawford. And this is because, remember, Dave worked in the corner for Terence Crawford versus Ricky Burns, your friend, right?
I was at that fight.
Right, okay. And just the skill demonstrated. And I remember this is when I was at Sky. And there was a guy inside there, what's his name? Charles, I forgot. And Charles said, Spencer, we want you to do the breakdown for the Ricky Burns fight. And that was my first slot on TV to do the breakdown of, say, it gave me loads of DVDs of Terence Crawford. I didn't really know about Terence Crawford. I remember myself and Tundi came around my house and we sat down. I said, Tund, I got to do this bit for Sky. It's my first bit doing fight breakdowns. And I watched Terence Crawford. And I remember, like, we watched a couple of his fights, right? And we both looked at each other, me and Tundi. And we said, nah, you know what? Ricky Burns ain't beating this brother, you know?
To be fair, Crawford said that Ricky Burns was his toughest fight. And that listen, as a Scotsman, we're happy with that.
Yeah, no. Listen, at the time when they fought, Ricky Burns was the G. Ricky Burns doesn't get the respect that he should be getting.
Mm.
Ricky Burns with a G. You got seriously. I could speak about 2 hours on that one. But yeah, you know how it goes, Andrew. You know how it goes.
Yeah, definitely. Well, listen, Canelo's got a warm-up fight in May, maybe against Jake Paul. How's that going to set him up for the Crawford fight?
Yeah.
This guy, I know you're a pure boxing fan. You're a purist, so you appreciate it when you've got elite versus elite level. But when we talk about that fight and we break down Crawford and Canelo, but then we talk about Canelo fighting. Well, there's rumors about Canelo fighting Jake Paul in May on Cinco de Mayo. What's going through your head when you hear that one?
Jake Paul's gonna stop Canelo.
I will have to call you. That knowledge needs to leave that name.
I'm telling you, Jake Paul is gonna knock out Canelo. Right?
Break it down for me. Break it down for me.
Listen, did you not see how dangerous and what's the correct term? Virile in movement Jake Paul was? Plus, you know what? Jake Paul was trained by J. Leon Love. J. Leon Love's my guy. I see a lot of you guys out in London. I was meant to be at the Undisputed for the game. I was meant to be there, but unfortunately I was in Jamaica, so I'm here in Jamaica. But seriously, Jake Paul's gonna stop Canelo. There's your line for you. Jake Paul's gonna knock out. Nah, you know what? Everybody's got their apprehensions about the Mike Tyson fight, right? With Jake Paul. Everyone's saying, oh, Tyson pulled these punches and blah, 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 and da-da-da, and all the rest of it, yeah? But this is what I'm going to say to you. I was actually pleasantly surprised, yeah, by the movement of Jake Paul, right? But we have to be real. I'm going to be real with you, right? If that fight does happen, it will more than likely be, I'm keeping it real, some deals being put together like, but don't hurt him. You know what I mean?
16-ounce gloves.
Yeah, 16-ounce gloves, right? But you know Canelo's a guy who in his head would say, hey, F you, man, I'm going to kill this guy.
Yeah.
Right, but I hope, you know what, I'm going to be real with you. Boxing is show business now, right? And in order to get this crossover, we do kind of need people like Jake Paul. But Canelo doesn't need Jake Paul.
No.
Right? Right. So I hope that does happen. You know what I mean? And because I see what this is, this game bit, I see what it is, right? But don't take it seriously. I don't take that seriously. But let's be real. Look what Jake Paul, and we have to big up him and his brother as well, right? Look what they have done for undercard fighters. Look what they've done. Right? So as much as we want to laugh, I understand what that is. This is entertainment. I don't think somebody as integral as Canelo would do anything to damage his integrity to the sport. Right? But what I am saying is, how much did Serrano earn?
Yeah, biggest payday.
Versus Katie Taylor.
Yeah.
Could she have done that ever if she didn't link up with Jake Paul? Go look at all these undercard fighters who are earning some astronomical figures. Could they have done that without Jake Paul? Right? So as much as we say, Jake Paul this and blah, 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 and it's joke and all the rest, I'm a pure purist. But I'm also got to be realistic to the fact that if this is called prize fighting, what is the prize? The prize is financial gains. So if they are earning more money than they could ever earn in their life, somebody that was downtrodden and homeless at one time, or you know, Serrano's story weren't no easy story. You know what I mean? Alhamdulillah, praise be to God. I'm happy for them, for those people, and I'm thankful to Jake Paul. I'm never ever gonna bite the hand that feeds the fighters, as long as their integrity is intact. So let Canelo fight Jake Paul as a warm-up. No problemo. You know what I mean? And I hope that Jake Paul floors him, right? Which is going to be impossible. But I hope that Jake Paul floors him with an overhand right. One of those overhand rights that he's hitting Mike Tyson with.
Could you imagine, Spence, right? Canelo's never touched the canvas. And imagine if it was Jake Paul that did it. Could you imagine?
Imagine. You know what I mean? And then the odds would kind of like, ooh. But everyone's looking at it like it's a gimmick. And if it is pantomime, then so be it. But it will introduce Canelo's massive anyway. 1 in 3 Mexicans watching when he fights. You have millions of Mexicans. 1 in 3 watching when he fights. Just work that one out.
It's crazy.
Mad. So, but no, I'm not knocking. Before I was very, very cynical, and I'm still cynical about it. But if the aim is to earn money and he's making people eat, then so be it, man.
Listen, that's it, man. As long as you're making bread and that's that like you say, it is prize fighting. So that is the thing. Spencer, one final one. Like I say, I'm traveling down to Manchester in the next 20 minutes for the Chisora Wilding fight. I want to get your thoughts on Big Del Boy. I mean, 49th professional fight. He's gave British boxing some of the best nights, the Dillian White fights and whatnot, the David Hay fight. He's been wonderful for British boxing. He's looking to bow out, have his final fight in the UK. 49. Talk to me.
That's not going to be Terence Crawford's final fight.
In the UK, it is. I know he's going to be fighting in Africa for his 50th. That's the sort of rumours we're hearing. But in the UK, he says this is it done in the UK. His final fight in the UK.
Oh, it's a final fight in the UK.
Yeah,
We should appreciate everything that Terence Crawford has done inside British boxing and the fantastic nights that he's given British boxing. And he's given us some marvelous nights. And and Derek is a very complex character. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
He's very, very complex. But I have a very good relationship with Derek Chisora. And I'm very, very grateful to people like Derek Chisora and Don Charles, right? I'm very grateful to those guys because I worked the camp with them for the Fury fight. I mean, they brought me and we was doing like just sitting down watching old fights and stuff, which was great. And I got a lot of time for Derek Chisora. I mean, very, very supportive human being. He was very supportive when I lost my mum as well, so I got a lot of time for Derek. But yeah, if he wants to have a fight in Africa, it'd be fitting for him to fight Dillian White in Africa if that happens. So, because they're trying to bring Riyadh season to Africa, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So if they bring Riyadh season to Africa, I'm keeping this thing 100%. That will help the infrastructure of certain African countries. You need to talk to the right people in Africa. You know what I mean? So I'll be waiting for that phone call from Spencer Brown, right? That's me keeping it 100. And I'd also like to see Riyadh season Caribbean. The amount of talent that is over here in Jamaica that I've seen. I've been to the boxing gyms, right? Lennox Lewis has got, he's League of Champions as well. The amount of talent that is down in these places, but the infrastructure is not there to cultivate them. So I said this years ago that Turkey Al Sheikh should have one global body, just like they got in the UFC, one global body for boxing, right? Because it's already flourishing, but then you can keep everybody in check. I believe that's what's going to happen. But it's very, very important to have Riyadh season Africa, right? But have Africans running stuff out there. Do you know what I mean? I'm just keeping this thing 100, right? And also, we need a Riyadh season in the Caribbean, right? Because the talent out here is nuts. And that's
Untouched
my final
talent. Untouched talent. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, sir.
Good stuff. Well, Spencer, listen, I can see the sun trying to break out behind you. It's going to be, hopefully, it's an absolutely beautiful day for you in Jamaica. No doubt it will be.
Thank you very much, my bro.
Well, listen, God bless you, brother, and enjoy the rest of your time in Jamaica, and I'll catch up with you very, very soon, Spence. God bless you, brother.
Love, bro.